Right people, I am very sick, I feel like crap, but thankfully there's iPhone SE4 rumors to cheer me up, yay, I'm so excited. So let's delve into that, and also details on the release date and price. So Unknowns21 as of late has been dropping regular tidbits regarding the SE4. They begun by corroborating with quote that the phone should be based on the iPhone 14 and might include Apple's first in-house modem. Then they went one step further and shared details on the dimensions, though to be fair this wasn't exactly revolutionary news because guess what? An iPhone that's based on the iPhone 14 shares dimensions with the iPhone 14. But now they shared details on something I actually care about, which is the battery capacity. And well, to no one's surprise, this is yet again very similar to the iPhone 14. According to his findings, partially assembled prototypes of the next iPhone SE have been equipped with lithium-ion batteries bearing the model number A2863, which Apple has already used in the past for iPhone 14. Now, the actual capacity of the battery is 3,279 mAh, which is a substantial increase over the 2018 mAh battery the current SE has. I actually do have an iPhone SE3 as a beta testing device, and while the battery life isn't terrible, it's also not very good. It's only just good enough for most consumers, and so this having a battery capacity similar to the iPhone 14 is fantastic news because the iPhone 14, in my experience, got 7 to 8 hours of screen on time, and that's plenty enough for most consumers. And by the way, would like to remind you guys, like this video and subscribe for more content like this, it would be appreciated. Unknowns21 then explains the obvious and says it will save Apple money to reuse components. And while yes, it doesn't take a genius to work that out, that yes, using old battery tech and chucking it inside a new device is clearly going to be cheaper for Apple. I mean, this is the blueprint for the iPhone SE in general. It's a recycle bin iPhone. Whatever components can be scrambled together from the parts bin for a low enough price ends up being the new SE, and while considering they're still producing the iPhone 14 design, which is very similar to the iPhone 13 design, this design is perfect for the new SE. Remember, the SE2 replaced the iPhone 8 that was still being produced, and the SE1 replaced the 5S that was still being produced. And so all of this completely makes sense. Now let's delve into what you probably want to know about, which is the release date and price. And unfortunately, because every leak on the planet likes to be vague with their details, especially regarding the release date and price, no one has yet to pinpoint when exactly we're going to see this device, but I have a theory, guys. I think we're going to see this in early 2025. And I know that's many days away, but let me explain. So why do I think it's going to be an early 2025 release? Well, for one, we have heard this will be getting the action button the 15 Pros have, and well, it does not make sense to launch this early next year because it would have a feature the regular iPhone 15 doesn't have, and that clearly makes no sense. You shouldn't be paying more and getting less features, and so once the regular iPhone 16 gains the action button, that's when it makes sense to release this SE. Also, Unknowns21 makes it clear time and time again that this will be based on the iPhone 14, and usually when Apple releases a new SE, the model it's replacing is the oldest iPhone they sell. Right now, that's the iPhone 13, and so if it's based on the iPhone 14, we'll have to wait for the iPhone 16 series to launch, and then it'll come down in price to $599. Apple will likely also discontinue the 14 Plus, and so only the 14 will be there at $599, which means they can easily swap it out for the new SE in early 2025 at around the same price. Because yes, I do think the new SE is going to be a little more expensive than the outgoing model. I mean, did you really expect Apple was going to give us a modern design, OLED, a better camera, and all these expensive features for the same price? That was never going to happen. It's definitely going to be more expensive and Apple can justify it. Now, there is a chance it could be $50 cheaper than the iPhone 14, which should be $599 once the iPhone 16s arrive. And if you're wondering why I randomly think this, it's because when the SE2 released, that came at $399 and replaced the $449 iPhone 8. And so the same thing could happen here, but of course, no one expected the SE3 to get a price increase, and so Apple can definitely surprise us in a bad way with the pricing, but I do think it's going to be around $600. Now that could mean the iPhone SE3 continues to stay in the range for the same $429 price, which would be absolutely horrific, but of course, they kept the iPad 9 around when the iPad 10 released, and so I wouldn't be surprised if Apple does the same with the SEs. But hopefully once the SE4 has been around for a year or so, they can give it some sort of price cut. And I know there were some in the comments saying Apple's never gonna get away with this is too expensive, how can they charge this much for an SE? But guys, they absolutely are gonna get away with this. I know the tech community hates the iPhone SE3, and I agree guys, it's not a great value at $429 when there's much better spec Android phones for that kind of price, but that doesn't stop it from consistently outselling those Android devices. And here's the thing guys, yes, we techies focus on the specs, but at the end of the day only the iPhone offers iOS and the great hardware and software integration. Even if Android phones offer the best displays and cameras for that price, there will be those wanting an iPhone because they want AirDrop, they want iMessage, they want the longer support, etc. So basically what I'm trying to say is that Apple's gonna sell a ton of these phones, and personally, unlike the iPhone SE3 right now, the SE4 based on rumours does seem to be offering decent value. Honestly, for me, the killer feature might actually not even be the design, it's the 48 megapixel main sensor. This would be a game changer if true, because it would easily make up for the fact this only has one lens, because as I'd mentioned when reviewing the iPhone 15, the 2x crop with the larger main sensor is basically as good as a telephoto lens, and the ultra wide on the regular models is super soft anyways, so I'm totally fine with one fantastic main sensor on the back of the device. That would be awesome to have at a low price. And this could be the big reason you buy the iPhone SE4 over the 13 or 14, because yes, even if Apple doesn't sell these devices post the launch of the iPhone SE4, they will still be available to buy refurbished or used. But I think the iPhone SE4 should be a better buy over those devices, because it likely will have a new chipset and a much better camera, as I'd mentioned. Also completely forgot, but as I said, this could be the first device to use Apple's in-house modems, and also because of the EU forcing Apple to do this, we could see Type-C on this device, so there are plenty of reasons to buy this iPhone over the 13 or the 14. The SE4, as expected, will use the same aluminium chassis as the iPhone 14, which is fine by me because I do prefer it over stainless steel and titanium any day, and also there's multiple prototypes in a black or midnight shades, so Unknowns21 is sure we're gonna see that as one of the final colors for this new phone, but that's not really surprising news considering every iPhone comes in some sort of black shades. However, what I do wonder about is whether we're gonna see multiple color options or not. In the past, when it came to their base models, Apple would nearly always offer the most boring shades on the planet because you have to pay more to get fun shades, but that sentiment has changed as of late. The MacBook Air comes in midnight, for example, which of course the Pro models don't offer, and the base iPad has vibrant shades of yellow, blue and pink, which are leagues above the pastel shades other iPads offer, so maybe Apple's gonna give us some fun colors for the SE4 as well, because I am getting bored of the usual black, white and red. I'm hoping we see some other shades. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching.